we're half government owned, which means we're not subject to the kind of constraints and restrictions of government, and we're half private sector. So the other half ownership is the largest property investment company. I think on a good day, at best, you get the best of government in terms of its kind of control and its care for people, and you get the best of the private sector in its innovation, its creativity, its ability to take risks. And on a good day, each of them constrain each other in the right way. So I personally think it's a very interesting model for pension fund investment, and also it allows us to not be so short-termist and not to waste a lot of energy in fundraising. So as long as we are able to provide the returns that the pension and the investment company want, we know our ownership is long-term, we know we're building buildings of quality, of character, and we're also, more importantly, we're building spaces, because it's the spaces that make the place work. It's the placemaking that makes it work. So you're able to take a much longer-term view on that than you might in the private sector. You're not looking for an exit, you're actually looking for that long-term investment and growth. One of the key principles of running a waterfront area is movement and activity, and it's what we call the theatre of the water. You don't want to look out on just stagnant, dull water. When it gets dark, there's nothing really particularly interesting unless you put some light show or something. So the idea of that movement is a principle that we work to. So we're actively encouraging these working harbour to stay there, and locals and visitors, they love it. There's nothing more relaxing than looking at a ship being resprayed or just seeing stuff you'd never get anywhere near in an active working port. So I think we actively encourage that to happen. Now, it is very challenging, and I think one of the most challenging parts of running a waterfront like that is that you've got very competing different interests of stakeholders. So on the one hand, you have a working harbour that is noisy and busy. It works 24/7. Whenever the vessels come in, they work on them. On the other hand, you have hotels, people's residences who want peace and sanctuary. It's tricky, but the point really is that if you don't manage those competing stakeholders' interests, you lose something. The waterfront loses something. So part of the role has to be seen as finding a compromise. It probably supports maybe 300 families at present. And I think one of the things that brings me joy about the busker program is that busking is a world occupation. So we will receive about 10 or 20 international buskers who will come to Cape Town for the season. But there's a mecca of busking. There is a sort of a place that all buskers aspire to go to, and that by coincidence is the Edinburgh Festival. And I was born in Edinburgh, it's my home city. And we will periodically send some of the buskers up to compete in the kind of World Busking Festival. So it's very, very rewarding. And I think it just brings a sort of atmosphere to public spaces that's quite irreplaceable. In order to encourage these businesses to start up in the waterfront, we take a very strong interest in care and try and investigate what services can help them. The small businesses are going to be the future of job creation. In each business is employing between 8 and 10 people. And in Africa, each person who's got a full-time employment is probably supporting a family of about 9. The reason we went behind this small business enterprise is, one, we're a business, we understand business, so we've got some skills, and all our staff are involved in offering these services to the smaller businesses. And we think that it's the most effective way of resolving the unemployment crisis. Port cities like Cape Town, they're natural wonders of the world. They're kind of God's assets, they're wonderful experiences, and I think it's a humility to respect that you are a custodian of that for a limited period of time. And clearly you want to leave it in a better place than you took it over. I think what it means to us is more to participate in that. We've learned an extraordinary amount. And, we've got colleagues and friends and people that we can work with to solve kind of shared problems.